I have a lot to say, actually.
Thank God.
I brought a list of stuff. And
I'm very glad.
We're going to get into it.
Welcome to the downside. Russell is not here, but he will be soon.
Thank God. I don't know if I've ever met him.
He's great.
Okay.
He's done more theatery stuff and sketch comedy, and he makes the mistake always of telling me when he's getting off the train.
Right.
And then I know just how dandily he strolls.
I cannot live like that. I walk so fast that it makes people uncomfortable. They have to, like, they're panting, keeping up with me. I'm just like, we have places to be.
Yeah. Tova walks faster than me no matter what.
Okay.
No matter what. Rush, no rush. There's
always somewhere to be is the thing.
I guess, but I tell her sometimes, I'm like, but we're on a stroll.
It's never
and it's
a
an
stroll.
older sister thing. I think it's an older sister thing.
Interesting.
That's my theory.
Interesting.
Hello, Russell.
Hi.
We're recording. Welcome. This is Russell.
Hi, Russell. I said it was really rude to start without you, but they did anyway.
Yes.
We had to get started.
We start telling me a Tova story, and we
Yes.
have any Tova story. People enjoy the Tova lore. You did an open mic, and she was there.
My first open mic I ever did.
Your first open mic. What year are we talking?
2016 maybe, or 20. Yeah.
Okay.
I think 2015, late 2015 or early. I don't remember exactly.
Where at?
It was at UCB East. It was the all women's open mic.
Oh.
Yeah, they had that. They had that service. It was once a month. They did it women's only at the mic.
Who
I
booked
believe.
it? Aaron Glazer?
Sue Smith, Anna Dresden. Aaron
Okay.
Glazer sat in the back. He was talent scouting. I haven't heard that name in a while. I have an Aaron Glazer story also. It's not.
God.
It's not what you'd think. It's not what you'd immediately think.
We
is an Aaron
joined.
Glazer story.
We got into UCB like after.
Yeah.
So I learned his name
We heard what
with
was
the
happening. We were
accusation.
like-
Totally.
I never heard that. You hear that
Same.
great Aaron Glazer joke?
Yeah.
Never.
Never. He ran a show at Niagara for a bit.
Okay.
And I did that show, and he was really mean to me. And then, we can get into the Aaron Glazer of it all a bit later. I could tell the good, fun story first, if you want.
Yeah,
the
let's do that.
Tova story.
Yeah.
So I was at my first. Oh my gosh!
Sorry.
I just slipped on the blanket. I was at my first open mic ever, and I didn't really tell anyone I was doing it. I just told one of my brothers because I'd been doing improv for a bit at UCB.
Yeah.
And so I decided I'm just going to do an open mic. If it goes terribly, I'll just never do it again. But it went well. You have 120 seconds, by the way. It's a 2-minute open mic.
Sure.
So for it to go well, it was like, I got a couple of laughs, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to just do this as a job now. And then it turns out that Tova was there because she was also, I think, performing at the time.
Yeah.
And she had taken a photo of me at the open mic, and she posted it being like, this girl's so funny.
Wow.
When she has a Comedy Central special in 2 years, like, I just want to say I was at her first open mic.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
That's so
insane.
nice.
And no offense. No way it was that good of a 2 minutes. Comedy Central, right? At first open mic?
Look, she said 2 years, which I still don't have one. So
She's got a nice
she
one.
had a lot more faith in me. She thought Comedy Central had 2 years left in it,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
it
yeah.
also didn't.
Yes.
So, but I miss Comedy Central.
Was that's a high compliment. Like, did you know, I don't know how deep she was into comedy either, but that's crazy.
It was crazy.
That's so nice.
And I
Yeah.
didn't see it either because we didn't even talk or anything. But then when she, years later, maybe, like when she had gotten into management, I think she just made the connection.
By the way, that's indicative of if a man's open mic, which is most of the open mics,
Yeah.
no one's doling out compliments
Hell
like that.
no.
Not like that.
Well,
no.
You go, that guy's going to be in jail in 6 months.
Yeah, if not sooner. I went, so that was the first mic I did. Then the second mic I did was Wednesday at the Stand. And that was one of the scariest physical
Yes.
spaces that I've ever been in.
This was the old location. You go into the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a couple mics there. That was right when I started, when it closed down.
Yeah, there was a police officer that did stand up there every
Oh my
single
God.
week. I don't think he really pursued it as a career. It was more just like for fun. But he used to call pussies like trim or something. Is that a word you know?
You
No.
say,
What do you guys
do you
call
you mean
it?
as an adjective, like trim? Like
that,
trim and...
I think he meant, no, that was the noun.
Oh, that was the noun.
Was trim or something like that.
That's got
It
to...
was very
look at the
old
trim
school
on that
slang.
gal.
Yeah,
no,
something
he's
like that.
you're saying it's like... Oh, yeah, that's what you were
That
saying.
would be
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
A trim.
He was from another time. He
Yeah.
was very scary. Don't remember his
I'm just
name.
trying to think how it makes sense. I mean, trim, I think of it like, a trimmed a bush,
Yeah.
but a trim itself.
I don't know. If you have any listeners that were born in World War II era or after, then maybe they could tell us.
It's very possible.
We don't know.
Well, now tell us the fucked up story, since this is the downside.
Okay, the downside. So I agreed to do a show. You know when people reach out to you, olden days, fake Facebook Messenger, they would
Yes.
reach out and say, you didn't know them, but they were like, hey, I have this show. Will you come do it?
Yes.
So I got...
Some still do, by the way. And it's
some still do.
crazy.
And that's a crazy way to live.
Yes.
To be reaching out via Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I said yes. And then when I got there, I noticed that Aaron Glazer was there. This was like, you know, post allegations, post cancellation.
Okay.
So I went up to the person that DM'd me and I said, or messaged me on Facebook Messenger. And I said, is Aaron Glazer involved in the show in any way? And they said, he is. He's a producer. I can tell him to leave if you're not comfortable. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not comfortable.
Sure.
So you would have to ask him to leave if you want me to perform. It was a panel show. It wasn't stand up. And there was a couple of other male comics there too who were like, oh, this is fucked up. And I said, if he's still here when we go on stage, I will be walking off the stage. And they were like, we'll walk off with you. So I got on stage and they were introducing the panel and I saw him in the back. He's 7 feet tall, by the way. You can't miss him.
Wait, he's really 7 feet tall?
Aaron Glazer. No, maybe like 6'5".
My opener's 7 feet tall. Exactly.
Okay, so
I'm
you
like,
wanna get it straight?
I was going to say, I got to introduce these two guys.
No, I know. They could share clothes. So I could see him and I literally said into the mic, I was like, there is someone here that I'm not comfortable performing in front of. And I was told that this person would be removed and they weren't. So I'm leaving and all the comedians are leaving with me. And it was crazy.
And they all went.
And they all got
Where
up
was
and
this
left.
again?
It was somewhere uptown.
Wow.
Just like, you know,
Because this is
Upper
all,
West or something.
this is 2000, what, 18, 19?
This would have probably been 2018.
Pre Me Too movement. There wasn't like...
No, it was
This
Me
was
Too.
like, it was during that?
It was after the Facebook updates of like Aaron Glazer, like...
No, but pre the movement.
No, this was post.
When was the
2018.
2018.
So then maybe it was
Or
2019.
17. No, 17. 17.
Well, it was when Trump won, right? For the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Cosby was before, right?
Yeah, Cosby,
Cosby
and
was
Weinstein
before.
were the early
Yeah.
early adopters. And
Well,
so
speaking of Facebook Messenger, I went to Facebook Messenger once many years ago, and I was invited to be on the panel for the comedy show that Harvey Weinstein ended up being on, where they confronted him. And someone via Facebook Messenger
Asked
had
you.
invited me to be on the panel.
and you said no because you hate women.
But after it all happened, I said I had to sit down with myself and go like, if you were there, what would you have done? And I decided I would have been a hero and called him out before anyone else did.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
That sounds like you.
People would have really admired my behavior.
Yeah.
That could have been career making for you.
It really could have.
Yeah.
Aaron Glazer was small potatoes. I mean, it didn't even get picked up by the trades or anything. But
Yeah.
we
But
bravely
then
walked
didn't he
out.
Sue? Didn't he? Wasn't
He
there a
did
whole
sue.
lawsuit?
Yeah. This
From
was,
that? Oh,
From-
Aaron.
He
With
sued
UCB.
UCB.
Well, whatever. Are we all...
We're gonna have to bleep all those.
No.
Do we? I don't know.
We just
we
said
have
with
to
the...
say
We're just saying the facts.
allegedly. It's
Allegedly. All
Yeah.
He
of this
allegedly sued UCB, or he...
He did sue UCB, but he allegedly had many allegations against him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He allegedly had allegations.
And then who
Yeah.
won? Because there was rumors about who won.
I think the rumor was that he won. But
And the other rumor was that's why they closed down.
Listen, I'm just.
And the other rumor is that if
sitting
our
here.
sketch team had stayed in UCB, we would all be on SNL right now.
right.
So allegedly.
Allegedly.
There's a lot.
We would-
Allegedly.
You should have to say that with the things.
Yeah.
We allegedly could have been on
We
SNL.
allegedly heard from Lorne Michaels.
Yeah. Also, if Aaron Glazer is a bummer to talk about, you can cut all that if you want.
No,
It's
because
up to
this
you.
is
I do.
the downside.
1, 2, 3. You're listening to The Downside
The downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
The last time that I went on Facebook Messenger,
Tell us.
I was invited to a memorial. But it was like way past. And it was like someone who I didn't really know. But it was like that was like something I missed. Because you don't go there.
Because you don't go there.
You don't go there and then you're like, oh, I missed that 8 months ago. A memorial.
I
you know?
deleted Facebook many years ago at this point. But
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger was like, that was the place.
Oh, the shows, the events.
The Yes.
You
event-
make an event.
That was where you got booked, was on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss the days of your newsfeed showing people breaking up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fun we had.
Oh,
going,
so
oh my God,
good.
John and Kate. Ah!
Oh my
John
God.
and Kate plus
John
eight.
and Kate plus 8.
They broke up. Or you could find out people were dating, you know?
I remember that. I feel like at one point It's complicated with someone.
Oh my God.
Which is insane.
That's actually deranged.
Yeah, that's
and I wish you told me that
fucking
before I came here.
crazy.
It was very much a she was on the way out with me. There was sometimes,
Wait.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I could have blocked this out. I feel like we were in a relationship and then I got downgraded to it's complicated.
And you
That's
let
brutal.
that
That's
stay.
brutal.
You
Was this pre-Me Too or? I did want to mention, because I'm rewatching Sex and the City right now because I'm having a period of mental illness and it helps me feel better. You give Major Steve energy.
Steve is Cynthia's
Cynthia's husband. Not because he's kind of like a beta. You don't give it in that way. You look like him and he's randomly jacked. So I feel
Thank
like
you.
when I walked in, I just thought, well, that's Steve.
I appreciate it. She was always my favorite. She's always the one I go like I would be with her.
Miranda.
And then Miranda. And then sure enough, she left him for someone else. I said
for a comedian named Che Diaz.
Named Che
yeah.
Diaz, a non-binary comedian. I said, you know what? That's also probably my trajectory.
Yeah.
But when I watch And Just Like That, or if I watch Sex and the City, I pretend that the other thing doesn't exist, because I think it's like it's not. I think of them as two completely separate shows about two completely different worlds.
Yeah, I liked Sex and the City. I never watched it full, but I watched enough.
Yeah.
And then I watched the movies, and that was tough.
The movies were hard on us all.
Yeah.
And all I've seen of the new is Che's stand-up, and I revel in it. I'm going to make a video where I'm going to do something at Nighthawk Cinema where we watch stand-up comedy movies, and I just love how bad the stand-up comedy is
In the movies.
In those movies. So what I want to do,
TV shows, they can't
They
do
never
it.
nail it.
Can't
they
crack
need to go to a comedian. There's plenty out there. Give them
They
50
still-
grand,
they-
buy their act off of them. Just use it.
Yeah.
But I want to get my video idea, my promo ideas. I'm going to get comics I'm going to put them in, do a show. Show's going well, and then I want them to pivot into the material from the movie.
Yeah.
And Che Diaz they only really did like a couple little bits, but that's the one I want the most.
I think it's hardest too is that they always put so much stakes around it. So it's not like just kind of like, oh, haha. Like that's it always has to be like proving that they're the funniest person.
This is the best comedian in the world.
Yeah. And that then sometimes like emotional, like, whoa.
Cynthia
oh, wow,
watches that performance like,
Yeah.
oh, and it's one of the lines they say is like, I've been in LA so long I'd take an Uber from the bedroom to the kitchen.
Yeah, but
yeah.
And that's
actually
the
that
end.
was one of my favorites in the whole set. I will say, of the jokes in that set, I said, you know what? That's clever. That's clever.
I think Marvelous Miss Maisel bothered me the most because it was like they had real people there.
Yeah.
And then she would go up and it would be just like plot, and people losing their minds.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a new stand-up piece of media coming out that we actually will talk about after
yeah.
the show that I'm sure we're all aware
Is this
of.
thing on?
We're all.
We can't talk about it right now.
Let's stop.
We can't talk about it
We can
right
talk about
now.
everything.
But I don't know
Gianmarco.
if I haven't seen it yet.
It's not out yet. It's in the works.
That's true.
But did you not audition for it?
I think I auditioned for like one line.
Right.
Where I said like good set or something like that.
Yeah. And you didn't book it?
I did not book it,
'Cause
which
it's not
means
believable you
I'm going
saying
to be
that.
pretty fucking brutal when it comes out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
You've
pretty
earned that.
brutal.
You've earned that.
It's hard. I've been making more.
It's hard. The title is hard. Is this thing on? Is a hard title.
That feels like it's like when an old person goes for shizzle and you go, that's not even corny. That's like 10 levels
Yeah.
bad.
That's not even outdated. It's just like, where are you even getting that from?
What up,
Yeah.
my dog? Something about that makes me want to shrivel up
Yeah.
and die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Untitled stand-up comedy movie by Bradley Cooper. is what it's
Project.
called. Yeah.
Untitled stand-up comedy project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll bleep the name.
Let me welcome my guest, Mary Beth Barone. Welcome to the show.
I feel so welcome. I really do.
So
for
nice to see you.
having me.
Thank you for being here. I've been seeing all these trailers and whatnot for it's a show.
It's a show.
Overcompensating.
Called Overcompensating.
Because I was thinking about it because I wanted Russell to tell the story. It feels very fitting because part of it's about the main character, he's going to college. He's saying he's straight, but he's gay.
He's closeted.
He's
Yeah.
closeted. And you told me we had a boys' weekend this weekend.
You did. What'd you guys do?
He told the story.
Well,
That's it.
That's all we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No,
went-
we got drunk and we
We had a
ate
show
and we
and we had
watched
a
Big
sh-
Lebowski and
we had a show in Burlington.
You guys drink? Because a lot of comedians don't drink anymore.
No, we do.
I don't often.
Okay.
But
Me
like
neither.
I
I'm the
save
same.
it for this.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I was in college and I had a roommate at one point, and very gay. Like
Okay.
it was music school, and when I was moving in with my parents, he did like a full dance number
Right.
for us,
As one does.
Like
he did a review.
It
Now
was
what do
like-
you mean?
I think he was very involved in like color guard, like and that kind of like marching band, but on a field. I don't know what that's
Right.
called. You know, that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So he was like doing that. He was excited, and he was like doing it, and I was like, okay, you know,
He was doing
Nice
it.
guy.
He waited for you to come in and then he started doing it for you guys, or he was practicing and you walked in on him practicing?
yeah, it was kind of like part of like getting to know him. It was like this was a big part of his life in
Okay.
high school, and like to kind of like convey that
Totally.
he did this thing, and so it was a lot though. It was like, you know, those dorms were small.
Yeah.
It was a big performance for a small room.
I'm sure he.
And
I'm
it was
sure
like
he
also
did
it was like my
amazing.
parents and his parents, so we were all like, it was a full audience.
Oh.
Were you
So-
seated for this? Was he like sit down?
I was like unpacking. I was like trying to make a bed. Like it was like this thing, you know. But anyways, so definitely gay, but like had his ex-girlfriend who also was going to school now too.
Same school.
Same school. And now they were just like, they were broken up, but they were like best friends.
And he was out or not?
No.
Okay.
Well, so no. But it was, you know, the writing was on the wall. And so like truly like 3 weeks later, you know, he comes to me and he's like nervous, and he tells me, you know, he's gay. And I was like, oh, that's great, you know. And that was kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the next week or so, he stopped speaking to me, and he's very cold. Very cold. I remember at one point, one of my folders was like technically on his side of the room, and he threw it across the room, kind of like dramatically. And then his
Very gay.
And then his best friend, I'd see her, and she was not speaking to me. She was being weird to me. And I was finally like, 2 weeks go by, and I'm like, what is going on? So I ask her, I'm like, is something going on? Like, you both? And she goes, yeah. Well, when came out to you, you were not surprised. And they were mad that I wasn't like, what?
How can
Wait,
you
did I
be-
say his name? I should have
You
bleeped
did
it
say
out.
his name.
Okay, we'll
Bleep it.
bleep that out.
Yeah.
How can you be upset about someone's honest reaction? Also, that's like you were supportive. What?
I don't know. I think I was,
And
because
you did
in my
say-
mind, I was trying to be like, it's not a, well, it wasn't a big deal. So
Right.
but it wasn't like, I felt like,
You're sure you didn't go adoy?
no, that was not me.
No, I know, but I don't know. You're like when
I
you're
would have
younger.
done it in
I
my,
don't- I
I
don't
would have
get
done it in
that
my
vibe.
head,
I
but
don't
not
get that
not
vibe.
like, you know, I would have had the sense to be like, oh, cool, like that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you must have really done nothing for him to have felt it. You must
I
tell me you're gay.
I'm gay.
Oh.
That was a shock. I feel like.
Yeah,
Sure.
you did a little shock.
You did a little
there.
shock.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Let's see.
Okay.
And learn your lesson.
Okay.
I'm sorry to do this while you're here.
It's okay.
I'm gay.
What? Yeah.
It's just for next time. You'll be
next time.
prepared.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna clip that, by the way. And I know you have allegations.
He has allegations too.
Both of you guys.
Separate,
Will do.
but different vibes.
Right.
Different vibes.
And yeah, he's not on stage talking about his girlfriend as much. So he with some people he has to come.
I have to
He
come
has
out.
to come out.
Yeah.
That's straight.
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't.
'cause
It doesn't come up.
I was
and
in
so sometimes people
Titanic.
feel betrayed.
Yeah.
In a way that's not fair to you. That's just the way you move.
Yeah. But ultimately,
I was really hurt. I had a friend in college that and this is musical theater. I went to musical theater camps, musical
Right.
theater college. So it really was many, many, many different ways.
A lot of queer baiting.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Once I had it in acting class, that
made
was
a
really
career of
beautiful.
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I remember he didn't come out to me. He came out to some of his friends before me, and man, it was not getting invited to a friend's wedding. It was just
Yeah.
like it hurt so much.
But he came out to you eventually.
Yeah, eventually, but kind of like leftovers.
Why do you think that was?
we were freshmen. I'm sure I was a lot. I'm sure he was waiting for me to start.
Right.
Yeah.
He was like,
He
you
thought
first.
you'd come out first.
Yeah.
He wanted you to pave the way, trailblazer. But you didn't have it in you, I guess.
No, in musical theater college, you don't feel. I don't feel. No one in musical theater camp thought I was gay because I was on
'Cause
the
you're
straight spectrum.
totally.
The Overton window. That's how they say it. It was shifted.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I've
What's
heard
that?
Kinsey scale.
Overton window. It's. I'm gonna fuck it up, but it's kind of like the basic premise for what the average is
Of being gay.
of anything. You shift the Overton window here, so now
Okay.
this is kind of on the gay side, and this is on the straight side.
Right.
And in musical theater camp, I'm
You're pretty straight.
I'm throwing that folder.
What's the
Yeah.
what would you say is the gayest thing about each of you?
Definitely movement for me.
Totally.
If I'm dancing and I'm like doing it as my body feels fit, it is very, and the wrist thing, it's such a cliche, but it's there.
Yeah.
I'd say my voice.
I agree on both
yeah.
of these things.
Yeah.
I think that's where you guys
Like a
are
softly spoken.
you're
How
losing
did this become the thing though? That's not fair.
I think just through like collective action. Like gay people just like it just, it just sort of is.
Well, I said Tova got me this forever bracelet. We both have them. And one thing that happens, no matter how straight I am during the day, and I keep track, I then do this. I go,
Right.
I do a little.
And so that's a dog whistle, what you just did.
I also like workout classes. I'm in SoulCycle, and I know you worked at SoulCycle.
I did. I worked both in the
did.
studio and at corporate. I'll have you know.
Oh, at corporate.
Corporate, yeah.
Do you climb the ladder?
I climbed the ladder, so to speak, and I would say it was like if all the most popular girls in middle school ran a company.
Oh my God.
That was the vibe.
Okay, I have a thing
Let's
with
hear it,
SoulCycle,
please.
and I'd like to hear your unvarnished thoughts. I think you should be allowed to take off your shirt in a spin class. I think it is very sweaty.
Okay.
I think
I'm gonna tell you what the philosophy is behind not doing that
Okay.
after when you're done.
I think it's a misandrous policy. Men biologically have more sweat glands in general. We don't have as many clothing options. Now what I do, I take a hair tie and I make a crop top essentially out
Totally.
of my shirt. But there's not as there's not as many things made for me. And it's so sweaty. And you do the 30 minutes and then you go to the arms. You cool down a little bit, and when you go back, the feeling is disgusting. I have sensitive skin, and I just feel like obviously it's way more women. I don't know what the percentages are, but I feel like that's part of it. There's a discomfort,
Right.
And I don't always feel welcome as my body is. So tell me why not?
So there is not a policy that you can't take your shirt off. It is
I knew
actually
it.
it is a no nipple policy.
That's what they said. They said
It's
nipple.
a no nipple policy because listen, if you also gender more fluid than ever. So let's say there's a policy that people who identify as male can take their shirts off in class. That just sets a weird sort of imbalance with like you just don't want to be making an exception that only guys can do.
Are they not allowed to legally say women or anyone identifying as woman could do the same?
Well, I mean, just imagine the can of worms that opens up, though. If women are taking their tops off at spin class.
Well, first of all, there's a simple fact that's not going to happen that often because if there's anything going on mass-wise, that's a nightmare of a class. It's hitting people in the face.
I think you're underestimating in New York specifically people's desire for attention. So if you think... Also, like, you can ride SoulCycle, I think, from when you're 14. So it's like, think about being in a class.
Oh, this got way more
You
complicated.
know what I mean? So think about it. So there is a no nipple policy that even the instructors are supposed to follow. Everyone's supposed to follow. It's even across anybody, any gender, anything, any gender identity, all that stuff.
Okay, if you took the age part aside of it, do you think it's... I say, and it's always when you say this as a guy who goes, yeah, I bet you would like the boobs out. But why not if you want to?
I just think then it's just different.
So you're
What
saying
about-
I have in my
Tassels.
I have
You could wear
heart-shaped
tassels, technically.
You're telling me if I go to this SoulCycle class and I wear these sparkly heart tassels, as long as my nipple's covered up, it's fine?
It is technically within the rules. I think the studio manager would be annoyed with you, but technically
Why
it's
would they
within
be
the
annoyed
rules.
with me?
Because I think it's just you're being like a butthead. You're being a punk if you try to do that.
Yeah.
I actually had to ban someone from SoulCycle when I worked there, which was very interesting interaction.
What did you ban them for?
He wouldn't stop taking his shirt off. But
I gotta
he
meet this guy.
also vaped in class, which you were not allowed to
Well,
do.
okay, why
And
do-
he would deny it. And then first of all, there's cameras in the class, so we would see plumes of smoke coming from this guy's bike.
That's
We're like,
crazy.
that's a
Maybe
vape.
he's just really
Man.
going at
But
it.
one day he left the vape in the cup holder, and we had a smoking gun. Almost quite literally, we had a smoking gun. So I had to call him and say, because he kept giving the studio managers the business, because he would take his shirt off and they'd be like, you can't do that. And he's like, watch me. And then he was like, fine, next week I'll come in with Band-Aids over my nipples and it's not against the rules. So he was just a problem client in general. So then I had the distinct pleasure of calling him and saying, you are not allowed to come into any SoulCycle studio ever again.
Listen, not all heroes are perfect. I don't approve of the vaping at all.
Did he get his vape
Can
back?
you-
or
can
no?
you-
No.
No.
Confiscated.
Can you understand where I'm coming from?
Have you tried like a mesh loose tank top?
I have it still. It still gets so wet.
Well, I think as someone...
Yoga, you can take off your shirt.
Yeah, but it's just different. Yoga people are like hippie. Not all of them, but it's just like you're bringing a different energy to your practice in yoga. I think when you're on a spin bike, it's just like there's just rules. Look, institutions have rules. Private institutions have rules. And if you don't like them, then you should take your business somewhere else.
Unfortunately, spin. I think SoulCycle is it's too powerful. They've set the tone. There's
know.
almost no spin classes that allow shirts going off.
Well, you could buy a Peloton bike, keep it in your place, and then you wouldn't have to wear a
You
shirt.
know what pisses me off the most? If you go to a hotel gym, first of all, let me just say, I'm not just taking off my shirt because I'm Italian and I'm Jewish. I'm hairy. I'm sweaty. It's gross. It's a mess. When you go to a gym at a hotel, sometimes you're not allowed to take off your shirt in the gym. They never have a rule, but I always get nervous.
Right.
And meanwhile, I'm looking at a glass thing. There's the pool right there. And I go,
Yeah.
surely this piece of glass shouldn't change all the rules.
And yet, I mean, look,
I'm going to do this pasty thing. I mean, I'm not that guy.
you shouldn't be that guy.
No,
but all
don't
I
do
will
the
say is that
pasties.
like society is a prison that we are responsible for building. And if there was a world in which we could all not wear shirts, I'm sure the world would be a better place. But think about the stuck up bitches that ride at SoulCycle, right? And they see another woman in the class, someone who identifies as female, with their tits out. You don't think we're going to get some complaints for that? Because I do.
Sure, maybe you have some classes are more. I did naked yoga, like that's a thing. You
But
could have
that is insane that you did
That's
that.
a very specific thing.
I'm so glad I did. I can't find it anymore. I'm trying to look for it.
Well, the guy that runs it is probably in jail, right? We're thinking jail, probably.
Where did you do it? In New York?
Yeah, it was like it was weird. It was not a regular location.
Yeah, I bet it was.
It was tough enough of a yoga class. No one was leering. It was tough.
You had butthole out.
How many people were there?
In Downward Dog.
It was full. I am so.
I mean, I was naked.
How many people were there?
There was like 9.
I don't need that. I don't need it.
That's-
but
that's
I'm glad
both-
it's available for those that need it. It's just not for me.
I'm understanding your. No, I want to. Is there a version of the pasty thing that's less offensive?
No,
No, it's a
no,
shirt
because you're
or it's
being
not
like
a shirt.
you're being such a like a
because you're
douchey,
being
like,
a little prick.
yeah.
You're like,
You're like,
huh.
I'm getting
don't- I
around
don't
the
have-
rules.
You're going, hey.
Yeah.
I'm not though. I don't have sports bras. I don't have crop
Get
tops.
a sports bra.
It
I've
doesn't-
seen men in sports bras.
Come on, how many men have you seen in sports bras?
I've seen it at SoulCycle.
All the sports bras are so girly,
well,
we need a masculine
I'm sure
one
you
made
can
of, like-
find one online.
yeah.
like a Batman.
Runners, they have to wear them because of chafing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get a chafing thing.
I'll get a sports bra. I'll
Get a
try
vest. Just try it.
a vest.
A sports
Yeah,
a
a
sports
sports vest.
vest.
Is that if that's not a thing? It's
I'm
gonna
sure
be a
for
thing.
chafing runners, I'm sure they have it.
I'm glad you explained this.
I'm
policy
sorry
to
you
me.
feel so like
No, I
you
just
feel
like
so
it.
By the way,
constricted
I
by the
just
rules of
like
society.
it.
Every 4 guests we have on, you do this plight to.
For the
Like,
first
so
one that
it's-
ever had the corporate.
Yeah.
I was saying with the person who probably
The-
designed this
the
policy to
corporate
begin
lore.
with.
I
set that-
came in many years after the no nipple policy had been instituted. I think it's just always been a thing, and I think it's just to prevent drama. Like there's so much drama in the studios, and the last
What's
thing
the
they
drama?
need are
Tell me.
perverts in there watching people cycle without shirts.
Well, I've always said,
Yeah.
Right?
Tova
Yeah.
said like it's so the women feel safe, and I was like, I can't catch anyone on a stationary bike.
Well, it's dark in there. It's dark.
Has people did funny business?
No, not that I've heard of. I mean, people have done really disgusting things, but not like
What have they done? Tell me.
you know, shitting on the bike and
Oh, God.
well, shitting themselves while riding.
Sure.
The things that I were the things that I was privy to working at SoulCycle corporate, like the things you will hear from both the studio side and the rider side. It's like I wish I had it in me to write a TV show about it because it is so fascinating. But like it is a crazy subsect of our population, specifically in New York.
Yeah.
It's insane. Because we'd get, you know, an internet.
Stop gesturing at me.
And we would get an internet famous comedian emailing us or putting on their Instagram story. SoulCycle is my body, my choice. Blah 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 blah, and it comes to us.
Yeah.
And so I'm the one having to call that person and say, "Sir, we're so sorry that you are unhappy with our policy. We blah blah." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It just is what it's just what it is.
Oh man,
So don't be that guy.
I'm working on a whole bit, and it's almost cooked. So it's
I can't wait to hear it.
yeah.
Let me.
Well,
know
I have
if
to
you need a
change it
quote.
now because I have a joke about the tassels, and now I'm like the tassels are real.
No, but a joke about the tassels is great
Sure.
because you're not putting it in practice.
Yeah.
I think if you wore tassels on your nipples to a class, it would be funny and people might have fun with that. I can't see you doing it every time though, because that
Yeah.
would be expensive.
And
Aren't
also,
they single
you came
use?
back every time. You're like, oh, you could do it one time.
But then they'd fall. I mean, they're sticky, but this is a
Here's
45 minute
the
spin
thing.
class.
Here's the thing. Where does it end? You say, okay, you could take your shirt off in
does it end?
SoulCycle. Next thing, people are shitting in the streets.
Yeah.
Right? Like what? There's no rules.
Oh, my
Let's
balls
just do
are
anything
sweaty.
we
Oh,
want.
I gotta take these
oh,
off,
no,
too.
I have to come right now because that, you know. And then what does that look like?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But I wish we lived in a world where we didn't have to think of these extremes.
No, I know what
but
you mean. My Twitter, Twitter's such a nightmare. But like,
not on there either.
but like the, with the less set, the porn is a little bit. It goes through waves, and I understand it's your algorithm, but also my algorithm is filled with white supremacy things, and I promise that's not me.
I don't see you clicking on that.
And there is a time where I'm like, I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, oh no, I don't know. I don't want to be horny right now. And it's like, oh, I see. You start to see beyond the like, this is bad, and more just like, we had to get through the day,
Right.
And we had to finish
have
the
work
job
to
at the
do.
work,
Yeah.
And maybe you just can't have it come up randomly,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you go back to the Catholic Church, and I go, I'm always going to be now. You grew up Catholic,
I did. Very extremely Catholic.
and still
yes.
very religious.
Extremely.
Not religious at all. Thankfully,
Mm-hmm.
I am atheist.
What is
Proudly.
When you say extremely, what you were going every Sunday?
Every Sunday, Catholic school, got, baptized, communion, and confirmation.
Wow.
The whole deal. Thought I was waiting till marriage to have sex, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, until I was 20.
Oh God, the Catholic. Were you with the Pope dying? Does it mean anything to you?
So I thought this Pope was pretty good
Sure.
as far as popes go and what I know of popes. And so I'm sad in that I think he was a really progressive thinker. And I worry that the next person they put in would maybe be in response to that, sort of like how he went from Obama to Trump. I hope that's not the case. But I think any progressive thinkers that can like push these institutions into like the modern day are great. But I think the Catholic Church is unfortunately well past saving at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just like too much very sad, tragic, traumatizing history there.
So many people were commenting, where Trump did the chat, the AI picture of him as the
being the
Pope,
Pope.
where people always act surprised. I'm done with any kind of surprise of like, no one's upset by this. But it is shocking because we always talk about what's her name on SNL.
Who?
Ripping up the picture of the Pope.
Oh,
Oh,
Sinead
Sinead
O'Connor.
O'Connor.
Yes. And, disastrous for them.
Yeah.
And, it makes me mad. My step grandfather, he was in the priesthood.
Oh.
And then he left it because he fell in love with my grandma, who was a secretary at Georgetown University. This was before the Me
Romance.
Too movement.
Wait, she was a secretary
And-
for him as a...
Priest?
Yeah, he
Priest?
was a dean. He was the dean of students. This was, when priests were more involved in
okay,
academia
yeah.
and whatnot. And apparently, I was gonna say he's an idealist. It's like, he was a Catholic. He wrote to the Pope saying, "Could you make an exception?" And
let him be married as a priest.
let him be married as a priest.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
They were like,
they said
"No."
no. Instead, they sent him to basically a mental asylum or just conversion therapy. Just don't do this, please.
Right.
And ultimately he left.
That's
but
hard.
he's still he still followed the Catholic Church, and he was part of, the lapsed Catholics group chat or whatever. And I from afar, I go, leave it.
Right.
Leave it in the dirt. But it's his community.
I think if people are taking the positive teachings of Catholicism and Christianity and putting them into practice every day, I'm so on board with that. It's the misinterpretation and the latching onto things that are ultimately just meant to oppress people that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
If you want community and you want to go to church every Sunday and talk about how to be a good person and how to, enhance the people's lives around you, great. That's not what is happening, though.
Of course.
Most of the time.
Yeah, and then some places it might be, but it's hard to parse the two.
I
It's
feel
very
like
hard.
what went wrong for Catholics too is that it's so boring. Like
It
they
is
didn't
so
do anything to
boring.
like keep up with like those crazy ones in Texas, but they have bands and they're like, look at this fun
Energy.
Have
you heard of a vibe?
Yeah, and so it's like they not only did all this kind of like bad abuse stuff, but then they kept
Even worse,
They
the
kept the
lack
show
of-
the same. The
Even
show
bands.
boring
Yeah, they
show.
didn't update it.
Yeah.
Well, they changed a few things. I think John Mulaney has a bit about this, where now instead of saying peace be with you and also with you, you say peace be with you, and they say and also with your spirit. They did a major overhaul of the mass.
Do you know
And
how
that
many
was the
meetings
big
they probably
change.
had for that?
I can't even fathom.
The last pope, I'm pretty sure, one said the priests don't have to communicate in like Latin anymore, and that was a scandal. And now they want to go back to it.
Yeah.
They're not interested in it.
No, and I think that is why. I mean, I read something, maybe a headline or something, about how there's like more Christians than like the Christianity is growing, but I don't know that Catholicism is growing.
Yeah. What was your journey into atheism? Was there a moment, an issue, a cause?
I went to college and I took a philosophy class at Boston College, Jesuit University. All freshmen have to take philosophy and theology. And I was like, wait a minute, there's so many other like ways of thinking. So I went to public high school also. So that was like the beginning of me sort of seeing that like there are other belief systems, because I had a ton of Jewish friends. I didn't know any Jewish people from kindergarten to 8th grade.
Wow.
So I met so many because there's tons of Jewish people in Stanford where I'm from. And so I just then took philosophy and theology, and I was like, what have these people been telling me? It's just, no, that's not right. Like Catholicism isn't right. And so then when I dropped out of school, moved to New York, it sort of progressed even more of just like, I had no relationship to religion anymore. And then my parents stopped going to church, and my mom saw Spotlight. I do have a joke about it, but I think Spotlight was like so eye-opening to her that it was just like, I can't, we gave money to the church every week.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking like, where is that money going? It's not staying here to like make the community better. It's like defending these people who are abusing their power. So I think it was a long road to, spirituality in some cases, but not Catholicism, not religion, organized religion.
Yeah, apparently where I grew up in DC, there was some guy who by like the Capitol or whatever held up a sign saying the priests are abusing little kids, and people just viewed him as a crazy person for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for Spotlight. But
Good
it's
for
still,
Spotlight.
I'm still amazed by how many, is it 1 billion Catholics in the world? It's something nuts.
It's a lot. It's too many. It's honestly like try hard at this point.
Yeah.
It's too much. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to like let go. I think it made me good at like letting go of my heroes, I had to turn my back on Jesus. So then when a celebrity I love does something completely fucking stupid and I'm like, I can't be a fan of that person anymore, I have a very healthy way of like compartmentalizing that.
I see.
Which has actually benefited me because everyone sucks.
Was Jesus at any point, because he's hot in a lot of these things, was there any part of it, I mean, this is too personal, that you're like, oh, I want to kiss Jesus?
I would say some crucifixes he like has a 6-pack and that's cool.
Yeah.
But then he's also bleeding from his hands and
the bleeding
feet.
ones.
So I think is mixed emotions. But yeah,
Sure.
The prevailing theory is like when you think of Jesus, he is like shredded and sexy.
Well, he had
I
to carry that
remember-
cross a long way.
Yeah.
And no wheels.
I remember a
takes
neighbor
abs.
having one of the bloody ones on their door. And you're like, that's what you want to see when you get to your door.
Well,
you
he
know?
died for our sins.
That's true.
So that we could have free will and all that stuff.
But it was facing like out. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we're all having to see it more than they are inside that house.
Well, they want you to just think about what you've done, I guess.
That's true.
And you were also, as a child, a Republican?
Yes.
So
Wow.
I've never met one. What?
You were like all through growing up, like until
Yeah.
you got to
How
college too, probably?
prevalent was it as your school? Was it everyone was a Republican? That
It was
you knew?
a lot of Republicans at my school.
Where'd
Because
you
it's
grow up?
so
I grew up in Connecticut, which is very
Oh, yeah.
Democratic.
near
but
our friend Chris Cafaro.
Yes.
Our conservative
Our
Chris.
conservative
Yes.
Chris friend. We did a live
Oh,
show.
God.
We did a live show that's going to be on the Patreon.
Yeah.
And he came on. He said, "I'm the straw man conservative Gianmarco brings up every time."
That's so funny.
And believe you me, with the conservatives, he's a good old centrist.
yeah,
At the end of the day,
I actually didn't know that about Chris, but that's good to know. It's just good for me to know.
he's a liberal. He's a
like
liberal by traditional.
He's like a Biden Democrat. You know what I mean? Like I mean,
Yeah.
like, but like he's for you know.
Yeah, he was saying that Biden should stay in, but he was the debate, the night of the debate. He was the one
He's
who
gonna
texted
hate
me
this.
he needs to drop out.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew,
knew the tides were turning.
Yeah.
that it was like I hadn't seen the debate. I was just Tov's birthday, and that's when I knew, oh my God, this must have been a disaster.
It was, from what I understand. I didn't watch it, but
Oh, it was a painful.
ugly.
But yeah, so because I grew up obviously very liberal. We did like a high school mock election. One person in the whole private high school voted for Bush.
Wow.
One.
See, okay, we did one in my elementary and middle school, and Bush beat John Kerry.
Wow.
By a lot. But that was like, that's Greenwich Republicans. That's like old money. I'm from Stanford. So, my parents were Republican, but they were like, okay, what I've realized is such an important distinction is like Bush era Republicans are capitalists. Trump era Republicans are fascists. So it's like, it's just a completely different scale. And I know that Dick Cheney and like everything's so bad, right?
Yeah.
But like for what we knew at the time, like I understand why my parents were Republican, but now we're all Democrats. I have 5
Sure.
siblings. We're all liberal. My parents are liberal. It's been a huge time of we've just really like grown together, which has been really nice. But looking back, I can't believe the things I would say.
Because for me, so much of what being a Democrat meant, it wasn't about foreign policy. Certainly, I was not thinking about
Right.
that in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
For me, it was simply beginning and end was like gay marriage, period. And that was obviously the thing everyone was talking about. And there was so much more, obviously, to politics.
Right.
But it was so simple to me because I was like, I was a child of divorce, and my mom and stepdad were not in a great marriage. And I remember my stepdad drive me to school and he said, I just think marriage is between a man and a woman. And I just know at that age just being like, you're so full of shit.
Yeah.
And I know this for
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
But that's all it was at that age. And it kind of extended from that.
For Republicans, it was all about taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big thing, was like taxes. My taxes are going to go up so I could pay for these people to like freeload or whatever. Because that was, the talking points of the Republican Party have always been, whether they're factual or not, very easy to digest. Like
Yeah.
you can lie to people
Welfare
and tell them
queens.
it's, exactly.
That was a big thing.
And like abortion. That was a huge thing too back then. And I was Catholic, so you shouldn't get an abortion.
Did your views on that shift with this philosophy class?
I think, there was like a time, so I was staunchly Republican. Then there was a few years where I was just like, I am apathetic politically. I'm not going to engage. I need to just like hit reset and figure out where my beliefs are.
Yeah.
And then I would say as I got into comedy more, and then of course, as Trump ran, I was still in my mid 20s. So I was like, I need to engage now. And like, this is how I feel about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the abortion of it all was like, that was one of the earlier things where I was like, I feel like, yeah, you should be able to get one,
Yeah. It's just so hard to separate like who you are from the way you were raised. No one really talked about abortion, but I never in my life at any point thought anything other than like, yeah, well, clearly it's the person's decision who has the baby in their body. It just, I don't know, but I can't tell if that was indoctrinated in me.
Yeah.
Well,
or
my
not.
family we were a foster family for infants. So we would take infants from when they were born until when they got adopted. We would take them and
Wow.
take
Oh
care
my
of them.
God.
Yeah.
How
So
long would that be?
it was anywhere from like a week to like 6 months. So the 6 months was the longest. We only had one of them for 6 months, like one of these gorgeous, beautiful little babies. So back then, I'm Catholic. It's like these babies in many cases will go on to families that can't have kids. So it's like you get these ideas of like, well, you should have the baby and just give the baby up for adoption, not thinking about obviously all the implications of that too. But
Yeah.
I think it's all about like just everything that happens in your life, you just form those opinions based on that. And so as I grew up and, you gain a little more consciousness, you see how the world really works. It's like you shouldn't have to carry a baby for 9 months just to give a couple that can't have a baby.
Well, talk
if
to me
you
about-
want to do that, great.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
This program, as someone who, I don't know if I'm going to have kids, but I love babies. How can I enroll?
Yeah.
What's this?
I know.
What's this? That's
Well,
wild.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, it was
You
through
just got paid. Why are you giving me that look?
You're only here 2 days a week. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't,
I don't
feel
think
like,
touring comedians are necessarily who they're looking for. We
I
were
don't-
like a family with 6 kids, 2 parents, and we lived in a house,
But why, when people, if I ever have a
crazy.
baby, why would I not at least give it a go, see what it's like, have to carry it around a couple places, put it between us?
Yeah.
There's enough room.
I wouldn't do that just as a step one.
Yeah, no.
I would say avoid that. But yeah, you have to get, approved, and they do interviews and all that stuff. But I was 7 when we started, so I had no idea what the hell was going on.
But you just got a fresh baby.
Just there's a baby, and
Did
we
you
all
ever
learned
feel
how
sad
to,
when they got taken away?
Yeah, I think I've only just started to unpack that in therapy.
It feels like could be a traumatic
Pretty
thing. 6 months is a long
crazy.
time.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about that with fostering dogs, and I'm like, I don't think I could do it. I think 2
You just
days,
get
and I'm like,
attached.
I love it.
Well, I have
Like,
an anxious
2 days, you're
attachment
like, I'll pay
style.
for $20,000 surgery.
I mean,
Yeah.
truly, I get these old dogs, and they fucking things happen, and I mean, might as well. I mean, I don't know. I should start at puppies because, my God, the amount of money I'm putting into these fucking old dogs.
Yeah.
What
But,
have you unpacked about it? So, do you remember how many? Do you remember how many? Do you remember their names? How?
Yeah, I think we had 13 overall.
Oh my
Wow.
God!
Over many years. So,
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's so.
It's crazy to think about it. I mean, my parents are insane. They had 6 kids, and they were like, you know what we don't have right now? An infant.
baby.
Let's get a few of them in
But
here.
that's true. I get that. I honestly didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes the birth parents would think about it, and then they would ultimately decide that they wanted to raise a child. But in many cases, they went on to an adoptive family, and it was a beautiful experience
Were there ever any close calls where they're like, maybe we'll keep this one?
for our family.
Yeah.
We had one where it was the one we had the longest.
Yeah.
Who we thought, if we can't, 'cause there was issues with the parent. It was just
Yeah.
there were just issues that were delaying the adoption, and there was definitely a time when we thought well, maybe we'll just adopt her. And so, yeah, thinking back on it now, I'm like, that was such a formative time for me, and then to have grow such an attachment to the baby, and then have to give them up. It was
Yeah.
I have a lot of attachment issues.
Do you remember would the parents show up? Would a doctor show up? Did you drop the baby off? Was there a final, you have a meal, bye?
It depended. Sometimes my mom would go to the hospital to pick up the baby, and then she'd bring the baby home. And then for when the parents sometimes came to our house, or that we would go to the Catholic family services where we would do the handoff. But it's definitely an extremely intense process to go through.
It's a very Catholic. Was it a Catholic
It was
organization?
a Catholic, yeah. It was called Catholic Family Services, but there's also state-run ones, and there's other organizations. They're not all Catholic, so I would say if you quit comedy and you just want to give the dad thing a try, I just think with the travel it might be kind of hard.
I think I'd do that sooner than a dog, to be honest.
That is,
If I was-
this is crazy. I mean,
Do you want to talk to Tova about
Yeah,
it, or
yeah.
should you enroll right now?
you're literally gonna be like,
Wait.
"Hey, Tova, good luck 5 days a
I
week."
gotta tell
I'm
you,
gonna come,
I'm not joking. I'm not saying right willy-nilly, but I'm saying if I'm going to have a kid, or if I'm really thinking about it, because I always feel like I say to Tova, and she's sick, I'm like, I don't even know what life looks like. My life is so chaotic. I don't know what a
Yeah.
consistency. And if we were really thinking about having kids, why would we not?
Wait,
give
in
it
this
a try.
scenario, though, are you taking the baby on the road?
I don't think you're allowed in most cases. I think the baby has to stay within state lines, from what I understand.
Okay, I'll set up some local shows. I'll set
You
up a
do
local
a month-long
gig.
residency.
A month-long residency. I mean, listen, first of all, the press around that's going to be
would be.
fucking
I mean,
easy.
my God.
Yeah. Hopefully
I-
that baby doesn't need a home for more than a month.
But a month and then you're done. But yeah,
I
the
think
baby
at
gets
this
a
age,
month.
it would devastate. I think if I had a baby for a month and I took away, I think it would devastate me.
Babies are so powerful. They're so cute, and they're so just yeah.
Were there any that were like, oh, we got a bad one this time?
Babies also, yes, babies can come with some issues. And I learned a lot about that when, as a kid, I'm like, some babies projectile vomit every time they eat.
Oh my God.
Some babies have colic, which is where they just cry for no reason. Some babies don't sleep. It's like,
That's what colic is? You cry for...
I don't know exactly what, but it feels like, when you're
Yeah.
11 and they're explaining it to you,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this baby's colicky, so he just cries a lot. I learned so much. I learned how to give, a change a diaper, give a baby a bath, warm up formula, all that stuff. Really important skills that as a babysitter, an avid babysitter, really came in handy for me. But yeah, it was a crazy time.
You ever look them up? You ever see what they're up to?
Sometimes we get Christmas cards, which is really sweet.
Oh my God. I think
Yeah.
there's also just the trauma of they don't remember you,
Well, of course they don't.
which is just...
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it's from like when they're born, like they're fresh
Yeah.
out the gate, so they have no memory of it. Of course,
I'm
intense.
going to become Catholic.
I don't think you have to convert, but it might help.
Yeah.
It might help if you want to get approved. But there's other ways of doing it. If you became a foster dad, I mean that's the reality show right there.
Yeah.
I would watch
Yeah.
that. I would for sure watch that.
I'm really interested. There's some New York Times article about all these TikTok families and all the disaster. I guess I was listening to a podcast about in the Mormon community.
Oh Lord.
There was some family that it was one of the early like TikTok popular families, and like it just came out, that they were keeping their kids prisoners.
Oh, God.
And abuse, and I'm like, and I'm sure it's just rife.
Yeah. It's all very dark. I mean, I guess I don't know how it worked. We didn't have social media back then, but obviously you can't you wouldn't be able to post a picture with the baby,
He's out.
So you could blur.
Never mind.
You
mind.
could blur, I guess.
Never
Do the
mind.
emoji over face, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some privacy laws about that now.
Yeah.
With the social media of it all. Definitely didn't think I'd come on this podcast and talk about
I love
Foster babies, but
I'm
you
going
never
to
know.
a wedding in 2 weeks, and I cannot wait.
You're gonna bring
a baby.
You're
No,
gonna bring a baby.
there's just going to be people there. Usually it's the kind of wedding where people are at the age where there might be a baby or two. Last
Right.
wedding I went to, there's a baby, and someone I kind of know, someone who will let me hold their baby.
Yeah, it's very meditative, and it's comforting. So, highly recommend it. Make sure it's someone you know. Don't ask to just hold anyone's baby.
Yeah.
But I would say if you can, you should.
I will. I'll be like, I'll foster that baby for a week if you want.
Yeah.
You can come back. What's this? Elon Musk? You scheduled a protest against?
I did.
Yeah, I hate this son of a bitch.
Me too.
We all do.
We all
no
do.
One, no one except for Ty, my producer, big fan.
Huge fan. Which
fan.
yeah,
Loves- he
we
wants a
don't have
Cybertruck
to get
so
into
bad.
it. I did do a protest in my hometown. Tesla takedown. I mean, I just can't stand that man. And I just think he's so ugly and he has no business thinking he has. I just think he shouldn't have the confidence that he does. And so I also think he's destroying the country from the inside out and other countries too. But I just was like, I hate him. And so I want to protest.
It seems like it's got to fall apart. There's a
him.
lot of people I'm kind of like, well, at some point, surely.
Well, I think he's been pushed out. You don't see as many headlines about Doge anymore.
Yeah.
But the damage is done. I mean, he gutted so many organizations, agencies, and fired so many people.
Who I'd love to. I mean, the problem, all these women. There's that one woman who very publicly called him out for not paying the.
Because he believes in eugenics.
He believes in
so
eugenics.
he's trying to have as many babies as possible.
And there's also a rumor though that his penis doesn't work.
I've heard this.
Allegedly.
That he got an extension.
I heard it was a botched penile implant, but he might still be able to ejaculate.
Well, not that the fact that I even see as many tweets by Azalea Banks as I do is just a disaster for my brain. But Azalea was saying that
What was she saying?
Grimes
She
told
was-
her that there was a botched penile implant.
Azalea was saying that she had been with a guy with a botched penile implant, and what it meant is that the middle of the shaft was essentially numb, so they would have to go all the way just to feel kind of sensation, which meant the sex was very jabby.
But then there is semen though that comes out.
Yeah.
So he can procreate, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the bargain that those women decided to enter, because they're obviously getting it's a lot of money.
Now, penile.
But it seems like a
Maybe
real.
not. Maybe not a lot of money.
I mean, compared to the regular. I mean, she was like, I'm only getting this. It depends where you are in life.
Absolutely. And what your priorities are. But I think some people just want to be close to power too. So they're like, oh, I just will fuck this guy, have his baby, and then I'm going to have a great life. But I don't know why any of these women trust anything these men say, because they are liars. And it's so ugly. I can't stress that enough.
Sure.
To have sex with Elon Musk, you have to be down so bad.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
But what
to
about
think
before?
about.
What about he dated what's her name before Grimes?
That's
I
the
know
thing
who
is,
you're
like,
talking about.
That's the thing.
Tallulah, somebody.
No, who's her and didn't he date Amber Heard?
Did he?
He dated Amber Heard. They
She
pulled the picture of
needs-
them at the Halloween party.
She needs
You're
to
throwing
pick
out.
better. I think she needs to pick better.
Yeah, there's a thing
Somehow
where
Johnny Depp
I
is an
remember.
upgrade.
I remember, you know, when like there was a time before Elon Musk was really in your like psyche, and I remember early on, like even seeing something about him when he was kind of like people like liked him a little bit more.
Yeah, well, he embraced the environmental cause.
and I
but
remember watching a thing and being like, "That's a weird guy." Like he's like a Mark Zuckerberg. He's like,
But we all thought, we thought he was harmlessly weird.
Yes.
There was that one interview where he was with his kids and his Tallulah, somebody who he had a couple kids with. And it was like, oh, this is just awkward. It's strange.
yeah.
But it didn't feel dangerous.
No, it felt like a lot of those guys though. Like
Right.
where you're like it's a weird.
They're
person.
just virgins.
But you're like one of those things where, did he?
Oh.
Yeah, no, they did.
Amber.
Amber.
Hey, look, he looks better there.
Does he?
He looks better there.
I don't know what they talked about. I mean, but listen, everyone at this level of fame, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. They could relate on rich people things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't judge. I can't judge anyone's choices, but at that time, I think now if you were to have a baby with Elon
Of
Musk, you
course.
know exactly what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So.
So how did the protest go? Did you take him down?
It was great. Yeah, we
Yeah?
took him down. That was
What
the
was it,
last.
in
That was
front
the
of,
straw that broke the camel's back. Well, the Tesla dealership in Stamford is kind of tucked away, so we were on like Route 1, and it was good. Unfortunately, though, what I did notice is it was a lot of older people, and we need young people to protest.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's these people that, they protested Vietnam and now they're protesting this, which is amazing. But if we don't get young people as angry as the older people are, then like we will continue this cycle.
Well, not that I'm entirely cynical about protesting, but I can see. The last big protest that I feel like it was the Black Lives Matter, the marches during COVID, which were, wild to just think about. That whole time of our lives, it was just wild. And I can understand how the cynicism emerges of, I think my dark side, I go, well, these aren't, it's not going far enough.
I completely agree. When we decide to stop going to work and everyone decides to stop, I will be right there. I feel like protesting, it does feel futile sometimes. You're like, what did I even do? But I think what felt good about it was just getting a lot of people who felt as, enraged and upset and passionate about it.
Yeah.
You all come together and you think like, okay, people are honking in support of us. There are more people out there that agree than disagree. And so I think that made me feel better, even if it was fleeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't think we're going far enough, unfortunately, but I'm not an elected official and I'm not like a thought leader. So I can't be like, there's this one day we're all going to stop going to work until all these atrocities are over.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have the power to do that. So unfortunately we have to continue to perpetuate what we're doing, which is buying things, going to work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks. I feel like there's more we could be doing, but I can't be the person to like make that call. But you're going on talk shows. You're talking about
but we've talked about just like the balance of what I want it to be. Like we have a no politician rule on the show.
Yeah.
Because I just think I'm not educated enough to I don't want to be responsible for the politician. I don't want to be responsible for platforming them.
Or
I don't
sometimes
trust them.
you can have someone on and have a perfectly fine thing, and then 2 months later they do something awful, and then you're
Totally.
like, "Fuck me!" Like
You always would say, "Can we get the author of Hillbilly Elegies on the show?" And I said, "No,
always-
Russell, that's
always-
that guy."
always a
You may
JD
not
Vance
get
guy.
Hillbilly Elegy. By the way, I had a huge problem with the title Hillbilly Elegy before this man even came across my desk.
Oh yeah.
Why would you name something a title with 6 L's in it? Hillbilly Elegy? Are you kidding me? That is so fucking stupid. Of all the words, Hillbilly Elegy,
Yeah.
it sounds like you like had a brain fart and
Yeah.
you combined 2 words accidentally. I just that title pisses me off. So then when I found out that he wrote the book, I was just like, well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
You know the one. You know Steve Bannon was one of the producers on Seinfeld.
Is that true?
Yeah. Steve Bannon gets a chunk of change from the Seinfeld.
Still.
Well, I'm
Oh,
glad I
yeah.
never watched. Never seen it. Never watched.
You know, I'm not a Seinfeld guy either. I've seen some episodes, but it just doesn't do anything for me. I love Curb, but I don't
Sure,
love
sure.
Seinfeld.
To be fair, just to add some context, he wasn't like an original producer. It was like a trade he did. Like that was his financial compensation on a deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't like a part of the team.
He wasn't like part of the writing crew.
Yeah.
No, they gave it to him after because they supported his political views.
Yeah.
They wanted to
Yeah.
fund Breitbart.
Well, I'm doing a fundraiser for Zoran.
Zoran. Oh, I'm so excited.
Because I saw that you started that. You said, well, all politicians are liars.
Yes.
What was that? Was that a fundraiser?
No, I just did my show at the Bell House. I did Mary Beth and Friends, and I'd found out that Zoran was running, and I asked if he would do an interview with me because I just wanted to put him in front of more people. And then
Yeah.
I filmed it, and I have a few more clips to post. But I was thinking about running for mayor, and then I found out about Zoran, and I thought, well, I guess I don't have to now. So
Now, you wanted to run in earnest?
I hadn't decided yet. I mean, I just couldn't believe that Eric Adams was our best option.
crazy. Sure.
So I was like, I feel like political office isn't out of the question for me at some point in the future. Maybe I will decide. Right now, I think I can have the most impact not doing that. Like I continue to like grow my career and hopefully help, educate people as I am being educated as well. But I was really glad that I found out about him, and I think he will do wonderful things for the city if he wins.
Do you feel like if that is really in your mind that one day you could run for political office, the amount of podcasts that you've done, the amount of things
I don't think it matters anymore.
But it doesn't matter. It's never mattered less.
Unless it's packaged correctly, then it can matter suddenly. I mean, it depends. What
I
sticks.
really don't think it matters.
I don't think it does.
Cuomo's back. Like truly, nothing matters. There's not a. I feel like we're past the thing of like those kind of things ruining your life. Like,
Sure.
like it's just like Look at the people we've had in office from both sides that have like done crazy shit. Whatever she said on a podcast,
Which,
is not
by the
gonna
way,
be-
I don't think would ever be any. I mean, I don't know. I hope if
Yeah.
something resurfaces, I will always take accountability. But I think it's also like, how long ago it was, how you respond to it, all that stuff
Sure,
matters
yeah.
a lot too to the left. But I don't know. We'll see. I hope I don't have to. But
It's just so brutal. Like, even I'm a fan of Zoran. I didn't know how to say his name. And it's like whenever they do these polls, Andrew Cuomo's just who they know. They
Right.
just know who that is. And that's that's the battle to overcome. And that sucks.
it's sad, and it's like people just think, oh, he resigned because of sexual harassment or whatever. He did so many more bad things that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
And
And now he's like mad too. Like he's
Yeah.
like because he feels like he's been fucked over.
been hard done
so
by
he's
or
gonna come
something.
back even crazier.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically a Republican. He's
Yeah.
Democrat in name only. So we'll see what happens. I don't know I'm so curious to see what happens in
And
June.
the subway too, he fucked it up. I was looking back for this fundraiser. He had this thing for the MTA. It was called the MTA Genius Transit Award, where he was like, "I'll give $1 million to
yeah.
anyone who has the best idea to fix the subway."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is a bad sign.
What ended up happening with
Yeah,
that?
did anyone come up with a plan?
I'm sure
He
someone got $1 million.
pocketed it. He just gave it
Chris
to himself.
Cuomo happened to come up with the best plan to fix the subway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, if Cuomo wins, because I like to think of New York as like really separate from the rest of the country. Like, but if Cuomo wins, it will be devastating for New Yorkers.
Because you know him and Trump will buddy it up. They'll buddy it up real quick.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
I heard two people from New Jersey complaining about congestion pricing the other day, and it really pissed me off
Yeah.
because I'm pro congestion pricing.
Because we need that money to fix the subways, and the streets are too crowded.
Too crowded,
Too
traffic's
crowded.
terrible, pedestrians are getting hit left and right. Let's just don't
Yeah.
drive up here.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling New York. Sometimes I feel down. I see all the chains. For now, like my trigger thing now is I'm walking down the street, I see like a new chain, and I'm like, "Fuck,
new
man!"
chain?
Like any chain of restaurants.
Oh my god! Thank you for bringing this up. Wonder Kitchen is a venture capital backed collective of ghost kitchens. It is some of the worst food I've ever had in my life. I ordered a burger from there. It was fucking terrible. Do not fall for this place on Seamless or wherever you order food from. Wonder Kitchen, it is a scam.
It's all happening. You know what is starting to be everywhere is the screens. You just order on the screen. You don't talk to the person making anything. The screen, first of all, doesn't have all the options, of course, and you're awkward because the person's right there. You want to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, if we make everything screens, we're literally not going to speak to other human beings
Well,
during the day.
We had that the other day at a gas station we stopped at on the way. There were 3 screens for checkout, and a guy just kind of like standing behind there asking everyone how their day was going.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this for? It's just if they break down, I guess.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Well, Mary Beth Barone, let's go on. You have a great full name. I always want to say
It's
the
a
full
good
thing.
name.
Yeah, I like the
Beth Barone.
mix of consonants and vowels. I think my parents did a good job with that one.
Yeah.
They didn't name you Hillbilly.
Hillbilly
Hillbilly
Elegy.
Elegy.
Hillbilly Elegy is sort of the antithesis of what my name is. You know what I mean? And maybe
Yeah.
that's why I'm so opposed to it. But I brought some stuff to complain about.
Sure,
That's
please. Let's go into
Please,
it.
yes.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
I brought a few things.
Tell us, please.
It was much easier to think of stuff that had to stop than
Good.
things I feel blessed
Sure,
for.
we only
Great.
need one of those.
So, okay, this is going to be maybe tough for like 3 white people to talk about, but there is a taboo around housekeepers. There's a taboo around both having and employing a housekeeper and being a housekeeper. And I think
Yes.
we need to remove the taboo because people from all socioeconomic walks of life have housekeepers. And it's like, why do I feel weird like talking about I like my housekeeper. She does a good job.
Sure.
And it's a transaction, and I think we should be able to openly have housekeepers.
I agree, and I agree with your first point that it's tough. I also have a housekeeper from time to time.
Do you feel so weird about it?
No, because I was raised with a lot of privilege.
Same, but then
Sure.
then that's why I feel bad.
Sure, I pay them in comedy advice. I pay them in real money, and I tip. And
It's just like that I have someone that cuts my hair.
here's the bottom line: it's happening. When you have shame around talking about things that are happening, all you're doing is shrouding it in secrecy.
Definitely.
We should all be talking about it because I think that's how customs get made. Like, for example, tipping customs, payment customs, or work opportunity, letting people know. You don't, then Handy, that app takes over
Exactly.
everything and they take all the money and ruin their lives.
And if you have people that will, and I'm not leaving my place a pigsty, right? Like I
Sure.
do the pre-clean and then the housekeeper comes and it's a wonderful experience. At least for me, like I'm like, I leave the house in working order and then I come back and it's cleaner.
Yeah.
And so if you have friends that you want to like refer your housekeeper to who you don't think are going to leave it like a disgusting mess, then that
Yes.
could be also really great because then the person has more work. But it's just like this weird, awkward thing where like if you bring up housekeeper, like everybody starts like whispering because they're just like, well, you don't want anyone to hear that we have a housekeeper.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
Do you have a housekeeper?
I don't, but I have dogs, and one of them is paralyzed, so it would be a whole thing.
So I wouldn't refer my housekeeper to you
No, exactly.
because that feels like that would be bad
Exactly.
for her.
Sorry, give me 1 second. My DoorDash is here. I'm sorry. Hi, wait 1 second.
Oh my
Don't
God.
cut this. Don't cut this.
Oh,
What did you
God.
ordered from Wonder Kitchen,
Here
didn't
you
you?
go. No, I didn't. I swear to God. Here. Did you get in?
How often does your housekeeper come?
You got in?
Every other month, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not
even like every
too
week.
frequently.
Oh, okay.
Because I also clean my place myself.
Yeah.
But if I want it,
But then
to
like a deep clean.
do
like
a deep clean, yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
So I think that's one thing where I think
I
we have
also
to
think
stop.
everyone. Yeah, no, I think that
so
makes-
many people
There's
so many
so
people
many
have
services
them.
in New York
Yeah,
that you're gonna pay for.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I would never whisper about the woman that cuts my hair.
No.
So I shouldn't feel like I have to whisper about a
Sure.
housekeeper.
My barber, I'm getting text updates from my barber because he has jury duty.
Oh, my
Oh my
drug dealer.
God.
That
Oh, that
kind
was
of-
my other point. We will talk openly about having drug dealers, but we won't talk about having housekeepers. My drug dealer texted me the other day. He's so funny. I haven't bought from him in so long, but this is how you know things have gotten pretty bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary, how are you? How was your day? I said, hey, pretty good. How about you? He said, thanks for asking. It was amazing. No worries. I don't mean to bother you. I just wanted to let you know I'm still here if you ever need assistance. Even if you just need to let some steam off from the madness this world is going through, feel free to reach out. We can converse. Everything doesn't have to be about business. I'm here.
Okay. So is Is that a genuine offer? Is he flirting with you?
No, I don't
Yeah.
think he's flirting. I think
You
he's
think he
just,
really is just
I think
nice?
he just wants the business, but it's
He's
just
like, reminder, drugs. You need
Help.
drugs.
Well, yeah,
when
exactly.
things are tough.
When you're like, hey, I'm going
Reminder.
through something. I got just the shroom for you.
Yeah.
right. But I just thought it was funny that he's, my drug dealer's referencing like everything going on.
He's like a therapist.
So that's where we're at.
Let me tell you, that's where the
Wow.
BetterHelp's going to go. It's going to be, I'm a therapist / drug dealer. I'll tell you exactly how many milligrams to take.
Right.
I've got my first. I don't know what this. I don't know what's legal anymore. My
Ketamine
first
therapy?
Signal. Like someone who delivered, but I had to download Signal to do it.
To do what?
To get them to deliver
drugs?
the drugs.
Okay.
And they did it using an Uber. An Uber delivered it. Like they just gave it to the Uber driver, and then the Uber driver gave
Because
it.
who would ever suspect a thing?
Yeah.
Just an Uber
That's
messenger.
crazy.
Oh my God! I swear. Wait, is this working? I'm sorry. Oh, it's DoorDash. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Hello? Hello? Hi. Were you able to get in? Are you at apartment 8? You can just leave it at the door. Apartment 8. If you were at apartment 8, you can just leave it right out that door.
He's definitely
Thank
not
you.
outside the store.
Thank you so much.
It's not this store. I think it's his real
Oh,
place.
his
Bye.
other place.
I would guess.
Good point.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm very
Okay.
sorry.
I don't. Please.
How rude.
Hey, life goes on. Life exists outside the podcast.
Have you ever had the
more
DoorDash
stuff.
driver leave in front of the whole building and you go,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah.
yes.
There's no way that's lasting more than 2 minutes
No.
out there.
Give me another. This got to stop.
I don't think bathrooms should be down a flight of stairs at a restaurant. I think bathrooms need to be on the ground floor.
Yes.
And when I have to pee during a dinner and I know I have to take a fucking pilgrimage to another dimension,
Yeah.
down a flight of stairs, through 3 doors, last door on the left, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that.
100%.
I want to get back to the dinner.
100%.
Elevators, unforgivable.
Oh, that's
Unforgivable.
actually disgusting.
Yes.
Not a chance would I do that. I'm holding it, if anything.
I
No, but
agree.
those long, steep staircase down to a tiny hallway where there's people waiting and oh,
And
It hurts
smells.
the vibe. It's
and
a weird.
No.
And what ADA compliance just out
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, where are they going?
Restructure the floor
Restructure.
plan because that's not okay with me.
yeah. No, I agree.
That's a good
That's
one.
a good
I
one.
want the bathroom to be a quick trip. And then the last thing I'll say that I think has to stop. I just people still drive drunk. I don't understand it, but it does happen. And I think it's like it's this weird thing where if you call people out on it, they get like defensive and they're like, "What? You're so like you're such a goody two shoes."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I just don't want anyone to get killed."
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things. That, it's similar to
Right.
like when I
Like,
found
I'm
out
not
how
talking
many.
about like cheating on homework.
Right? It's
like
like,
the craziest thing that you're
life
doing.
and death.
Yeah.
I think cheating on homework isn't that bad.
Yeah,
No, that's what
exactly.
I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying-
We're
oh,
not
you're
I'm
talking
saying
about
like
that.
we're not talking about that.
We're talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
like
yeah.
you have our lives in your hands.
Yeah.
I think I didn't understand until I was much older how many people are doing it. And then you go to
actually-
LA and you're like, you say to someone like, "Oh, how are you getting home?" And they're like,
It's actually weird because sometimes you find yourself, because we live in New York, it's so, never worrying about it. And then every once in a while you go visit somewhere else and it's a wedding or something. And then you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? People are just doing this.
Yeah.
And you're like, you get in a situation where you're like, am I? No, I don't want to
I'm
do
like,
that.
am I a loser? But no, I
Yeah.
just don't want
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
that. I just,
It's
I think
crazy.
it's weird how normalized it is in certain
places.
don't
I
like
agree.
that.
Good. Those are good. You
Those
have
are
this
very
got to
good.
stop?
Do you have one?
I do.
Go ahead.
You want me to go first?
I can go. Mine's quick. Obviously, we all love the institution that is SNL, and we're proud that they turned.
Yes, we do. Legally, we have to say that.
We're proud that they turned 50.
50.
I thought when that celebration happened that the commercials would stop, and okay, so we have characters doing classic characters. They're doing these commercials. We all have. Well, that's great. Make your money. It's extended now. I was on the subway stop the other day. Keenan
was on the subway.
he's on the subway
He's
now.
on it with you.
And he's
In
telling
the
people
car.
not to jump the
Not
turnstiles.
to jump the turnstile. Keenan.
And we need to respect the authorities. And it was
Really,
shocking.
it was pro cop.
I mean, when you're saying, and it's like Keenan being like, don't jump the turnstiles, and like being kind of like friendly and folksy, like this kind of fun vibe. But it's like listen to the rules,
Right.
which
Yeah, I'm
people
sure all the cast members of SNL listen to all the rules all the time.
No, but listen,
And taking the subway.
That's a very good point.
I'm drawing the line at the subway announcements. I just felt
that's
like
fair.
it was, especially with the night I heard the announcement. It was a cold, rainy night, and there's like it was late. It was me on a platform and multiple homeless people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're just trying to be warm. I don't care if they jump
They're
the
trying to
turnstile.
sleep,
And
ultimately.
then like at the end of the world announcement of like about SNL turning 50, and like that's included in it. So it's like, don't jump the turnstile, blah, blah, and be sure to watch SNL 50 on Peacock. And I was like, this is so bleak. Like for some reason, it really struck me as like,
Good cops
It's
come to arrest you.
apocalyptic.
like we can't
Perhaps.
have we have to have commercials everywhere. Something about it is like just let my robot voice come on for
It's
the
sort of
MTA.
Blade Runner-esque almost.
Yes.
Where it's like everything's an advertisement.
Yeah, so I have no qualms with Keenan or SNL. Obviously, big fans, but
I like the cops coming to arrest you. Instead of the siren, you hear, "Hoo-wee! What's up with that? What's up with that? You're under arrest."
I would prefer that. I would much prefer that.
Me too.
Did you see on the subway, Autism Acceptance Month was last month?
I didn't.
And I thought, so we're past awareness. We're moving on to acceptance.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's some people high up in our government who need to hear that.
Yeah.
We are accepting autism. And autistic people are contributing members of society in all walks of life. Let's just stop trying to put them on a list.
Yeah.
Okay. We're accepting autism.
Yeah.
And that's in Eric Adams' New York.
Not
so what does that
not
tell
only
you?
that, but that was the month they fired Elon Musk from all the White House duties. What is this? Not good.
Not good.
My this has got to stop. It's speaking
Keenan,
of the
if you're
Teslas.
listening, a big fan.
Of course.
Truly.
Ultimately, we're sorry he had to do that.
I
think that's where it really comes from.
because I think that you could. It's just.
I think it'd be funny that Shane Gillis didn't get it because he, said the C word. And for you immediately get fired because you criticized Keenan doing the subway
MTA
voice.
ads.
That is not the C word, for the record. The C word is a different word. He said that I wouldn't call that the C word.
Oh,
What
yeah.
would you call that? The CH
A
word?
slur.
A slur.
He said a slur. The C word is cunt.
Yeah.
That's the C
Which
word.
you can say.
So if you say someone got fired for saying the C word, that's like, well, it wasn't that bad.
Sure.
But he said a
Yeah.
slur.
Yeah,
So I
he
just
said a
want
slur.
to, and why are we talking about this? I don't even know why I said that. Let's move on.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
I'm
your-
a fan. Listen, great stand-up comic. We're backtracking everything. A fan of Elon. RFK, great guy.
And at that, Aaron Glazer.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, we're a fan.
Allegedly, we're all fans of Aaron Glazer.
I can't wait to come
That guy's
going to
get a Google. He's gonna
Cut
get a
that.
Google.
You can cut that.
No,
He's gonna
no.
get a
You
Google.
have to.
He's gonna get a Google thing, being like, "What?" Like,
Listen, I mean, with Cuomo running again, it's time
Yeah,
for his
it's true.
comeback.
Yeah.
This guy stop. It's the Tesla doors with the fucking buttons and the different ways to open the doors. I like a latch. I'm a monkey. I need to feel. I pull and something happens.
Right.
Button. It's too removed. And I know it was someone. It probably Elon goes. Something has to be different. That was not the part that needed to be different. And then sometimes they have a latch. They have a button, and
Also,
then on the way out you have a latch and not a regular
their
latch. a
windows are
weird
stupid
pulley.
too,
The
yeah.
windows are
Oh,
stupid.
yeah.
Everything's
I-
stupid. in
You
that.
guys
It's-
misunderstood what the future meant. It doesn't mean just like creating what you think is the future. It's optimizing what already works.
Yeah, well, it's creating a solution for something that wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Because we all knew how to use a door handle. There was
Yeah.
no questions about that. What I will say about the Tesla handles, because the cars run on Wi-Fi, if the car is not, like, if it can't reach a signal, the doors don't open. Many people have died either because their cars sink and they can't open the doors, or their cars are like electrical fire, the car's on fire, the buttons don't work. Please don't buy a Tesla. Please,
Stop
I
buying
beg you.
Teslas.
They're so dangerous. You could literally die in one. And I agree. We did not need to fix. Let's put our best minds on like cancer research.
Yeah.
We don't need to put it on fixing a door handle.
Also, I'm not the dumbest person in the world, and I've gotten in like 10 Teslas, and it should get easier. And so at some point, there's always still a thing where I'm like, what am I doing here? And then they get mad, and you're like, shut up. It's not easy for you
Well,
either.
I think they're
You,
embarrassed
like-
at this point.
Yeah, they
Because they'll
are.
actually, some of them reach back and open the door for me.
Yeah.
Because they just know. They say, this girl, she ain't going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
Let's go
I'm
to our
with
final
you.
segment. You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessing. So much to be thankful for. My blessing is kind of long ago. I went to a my God, what do you call it?
Restaurant?
A fair.
Farmer's market.
Farmer's market. Thank you, Mary Beth Barone.
Wow. Don't
I went
cut
to
that.
a farmer's market.
Don't
Keep
cut
that
that.
in.
Just want the
Believe me, I'm
record to
not
show
cut-
that I got that.
And there was a guy, and he was doing a real hard pitch. He was doing, these almonds will change your life. And then I tried it. They changed my life.
Really?
And it's only bad in the sense that this is in LA, and I've already eaten them, and now I eat a regular almond. I'm like, what is this? This is a piece of dirt that you
What's
hardened
on
from the
them?
ground?
What's on them?
I don't know. It's the water's better or whatever.
They're not salted or anything? They're just...
not salted. Oh my God. It was just, there's sometimes those farmers market, there really is a food and you go, the world could be better.
I completely understand.
Yeah.
I completely understand. It's so fleeting too. They're one day a week.
Yeah.
You have one day to get your stuff. And yeah, fuck, you're never maybe going to have those again. It's really hard.
Probably not.
It's really tough.
Do you have a blessing?
Yeah.
Jesus, the
Yes.
vacuous look on your face.
I was
Were you thinking about the almonds?
Well, I'm kind of mad you didn't bring any.
I was thinking about sometimes you leave New York and go to like just anywhere else, and you get an apple, and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this apple
It's the best apple
is
ever.
incredible.
Yeah.
You know, so that's always really exciting. No, my blessing is obviously it came out. I'm going to be in Ginger Twinsies
Off Broadway?
I got so
Ooh.
many nice messages from like theater people that I really respect, and it's just a nice little community of people, very supportive, and it was nice. It was nice.
That's
And
really great.
Yeah, my blessing.
Yeah, guys, go see it.
Go see it July 16th.
We did that
Opens.
after this part.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It wasn't time for plugs.
It was not time for promo.
Mary Beth, what's your blessing?
My blessing, I think, is like people that do hair and makeup for me. Like when I have glam, that's like so incredible and just enhances my day. I had glam today because I came from a photo shoot and I just thought, I'm going to walk into this podcast. They're filming it. I have a winged liner on and I have foundation and my hair is done. And it just makes the day that much better. I feel like I can do anything when I have glam. So yeah, you can just take on the world with some good glam. And I hope one day, if you haven't before, you get to experience that. Because guys can get glam.
I've got it, but there's a lot of like,
yeah, it's
great.
not as...
And I'm like, surely there's a little bit more we could do here.
Then you should speak up.
Speak up.
I know.
We should do it next downside tour. Get a glam.
Yeah.
Full glam team.
Yeah.
We're going to make negative $3,000 this time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I want to do one big drag. I want to do a drag. I want to get Rose and you and I do a full.
You should
drag.
totally do that to raise money for Pride or something.
Yeah.
For when?
Just a show one day.
Okay. Yeah.
And we do the show in drag, and we probably do a lip sync.
Oh,
number.
I was gonna say because we can't like do a show and then like it would take so long to get into that thing. We can't like do a closing.
And then
number.
if you want to see us do the tucking, it's on the Patreon.
Totally.
Good
That's
idea.
a genius idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Mary Beth Barone on social media. I have some shows that I haven't announced yet that are going to happen in New York in the summer. And then you can see me on Prime Video May 15th for all 8 episodes of Overcompensating.
Nice.
Overcompensating.
Can't wait.
Very exciting.
Hope you like it.
I know a lot of people in that cast, so it's going to be very
It's
cool.
going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Russell, what do you want to plug?
You can catch me in The Imaginary Invalid off Broadway until June 29th at New World Stages. And then after that, Ginger Twinsies off Broadway starting July 16th.
Are you going to be coming out after the show and signing things, taking pictures?
I have to leave, yeah.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. Come on, Debbie Downsiders. Go see the show.
Yeah.
Say hi to Russell. Let these Broadway producers know that when Russell's in the show, tickets will move.
Tickets are moving.
Tickets will move. Me, I'm everywhere online at Gianmarco Soresi, and I'll be touring Europe for June, first half of July. Just doing shows. But most importantly, please join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. 2 bonus episodes every month, plus footage from our live episodes every month. That's 3 bonus things, and we throw other shit on there.
Wow.
And
Like
we
you
love
talking.
you guys. Like me talking. This is The Downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.